Welcome to
Dropbear and Panda.
Save the World.
Episode
72.
Yeah. 72.
72.
72.
Speaking of 72, I have a juice box.
What does that have to do with 72?
It's got 200 milliliters. It's 100% real juice, and 200 divided by 100 is 72. If you take into consideration there's 7% carbohydrates.
You know nothing about math. Which I know nothing about that either. So for all I know, you are correct.
That's right. I'm no mathematologist.
So how are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
Coffee is good. Yeah.
So you've got the coffee.
Yep.
You've got all the sugar from your juicy juice.
7% carbohydrates.
From sugar.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there added sugar or just natural apple sugar?
It's 100% real juice from concentrate, so that's not great. It's a sans sugar adjoué, whatever that is. No sugar added. It's French.
I'd say apologies to all our francophone friends, but I don't think we have any. And if we did,
not anymore.
They left, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway. So some crazy stuff in the news.
DBP News right now.
Who is Brian May?
According to Wikipedia, Brian Harold May is an English musician, singer, songwriter, producer, and astrophysicist. He is the lead guitarist of the rock band Queen, for which his songs include We Will Rock You.
I did not know he was an astrophysicist.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, yeah, he's a freaking genius.
Damn.
But I'll tell you why he's not. Well, he could be. He's also an avid gardener.
Whoa, that's so rock and roll.
So much of an avid gardener that he not only shreds his guitar.
Excellent!
But he also shreds his butt.
What?
It's true.
Explain, please.
I had to I was trying to figure out how to talk about this and shredding the guitar, but also the hardcore rock and roll gardening with the rock garden and this.
Oh, that's a big
There were so many ways that I could have done this, and I failed on all the ways.
This is why being a newspaper editor is so much easier, because you have time to think about all the different puns and stupid things you can write in your headline.
It's true.
Brian May rocks the garden.
Yeah.
And jams his butt.
Mayday, mayday. Of course, I also learned of this story yesterday.
Yeah.
And could have easily have thought of all these things before 3 minutes ago.
That's true.
Queen's Brian May rips glutes while gardening.
What? How hard is a person gardening to rip his glutes?
I don't know. Another headline I saw was Queen's Brian May hospitalized after ripping butt muscles, quote, to shreds, unquote, while gardening.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's all on his Instagram, and on Instagram his name is Brian May for Real, so you can actually hunt him down there. And it says, I managed to rip my gluteus maximus to shreds in a moment of over-enthusiastic gardening.
Was a garden weasel? Do you know what those are? Remember the garden weasel?
Oh yeah, with the gears and stuff. No, it just says that he posted that a picture of him in the hospital.
Yeah. And
he had a mask and everything, and he said, no, the virus didn't get me yet, but hope everybody's well. But
wow,
he ripped his gluteus maximus to shreds, and now he's in the hospital getting scans, and it turns out he did it so badly that he isn't going to be able to walk for a while or to sleep because the pain is relentless.
Oh my God, the poor guy.
I know.
Holy crap.
Right? So
what do you do with
Was he on some weird squats?
I don't know.
Gardening is hard work.
It is. Make no mistake about it. It's not for the weak at butt.
No. And this incident comes after Queen released a new version of We Are the Champions to raise money for the World Health Organization's COVID-19 fund. They renamed it You Are the Champions, or You Are the Champions, as a tribute to medical staff.
That's nice.
Featuring May, the drummer Roger Taylor, and U.S. singer Adam Lambert.
Right.
that was recorded under lockdown. So he did this like song. He was all amazing. And then he was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to take care of the pansies and the poppies in my garden.
Yeah.
You know, maybe move some rocks around.
Yeah. Because it's rock and roll.
Exactly. And maybe get rid of some of the weeds and...
Weed is what gets you. It's the devil's cabbage.
Too many weeds.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just rip that ass.
Yeah. I feel bad for the guy. That's brutal.
So when we were kids, like my parents used to have us weed the garden all the time, and I fucking hated it. I hated gardening so much.
Yeah.
And we had a big garden in the back that was probably about the size of this office that we're sitting in right now.
Yeah.
And our dogs would go in and like take out the potatoes out of the garden. It was really cute, but we'd have to weed all the flower beds, and it was awful. I hated it.
Wow.
They have one of those claws things, and it was hard on your back.
Yeah.
And this is when I was like 8 and probably in much better shape. But
I miss the smell of dirt, though.
You're my lucky meteor. Right on.
And like my sister and I, we had a garden. Well, in all the houses, but I particularly remember the one in Ontario where we lived. Because we had all the things, and we would go and pull up beets and carrots and snap peas and corn on the cob because it's all there in our garden. And then we'd like put it in a big bucket and rinse it with a garden hose, and then just eat it right like that. It's awesome.
yeah, we'd take the carrots right out and then just wipe them on our pants and eat it that way. And there'd be worms in the garden, and we had raspberry canes here in Calgary when we were kids, and our golden retriever
Those are
would go
brutal.
in, and you could see, it's so funny because she did it with the potatoes and the carrots in our old garden in Nova Scotia. You could watch her from the kitchen. She'd turn around and look to see if anyone was looking, and then she would go in and dig up stuff, or she would come out of the raspberry garden with like this red just streaked across her face because you knew she was in there just eating it all. But in the UK, they call their whole backyard the garden.
Right.
So he could have been, and I'm assuming if he's doing his own stuff and he's Brian fucking May,
Yeah.
his garden is
Probably epic.
the size of like this entire city. So yeah,
I mean, but that's sort of the thing he likes to do. I'm so curious to know, like, what is it? What move? Like, was it a rock and roll gardening move that he did that caused the butt rip? Like, how do you go on stage as much as that guy does and not rip your butt muscle, but you do it gardening?
I don't know, man. I think we need more science.
Yeah. He's an astrophysicist.
Wow. You know what? I bet you he's never heard that, and you should go on to his Twitter.
Yeah.
Or his Instagram.
I know, it's a bit of a stretch, which is maybe something he should have done before gardening.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, dear.
that's in the news. What else is in the news? Oh,
Well, I do want to give a shout out to moms
yeah,
because it's Mother's Day.
it is.
Well, this is being released on Mother's Day or before Mother's Day.
We don't know. It'll
We're
be close.
releasing it
It'll be on the edge.
Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. Because mothers are awesome.
Well, you know, without mothers, we wouldn't be here.
That's correct.
It is correct. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I don't know if you listen to this, Mom.
My mom does.
Yeah.
She's a subscriber.
Your mom loves you.
Yep. She sure does. And she set up a badminton court in her garage so that she could keep practicing during the lockdown.
Her arm is going to be massive. Her
Yeah.
back muscles are going to be huge. And her serve, once this is over,
Oh, it's going to destroy.
she's going to be like friggin' like Superman.
Yeah. I bet you their garage door looks like our garage door did when I was a kid, and it had like all the hockey puck and baseball and tennis ball marks on it because we'd all like shoot against the garage door. Bet you that's what her garage door looks like, all dented and mangled.
You know what should happen soon? She should graduate from badminton birdies to like stones and rocks.
Oh, I don't think it, well,
To boulders.
boulders, yeah. Anyway, there you go.
I bet you she never ripped her butt doing gardening.
No. And they've got a great little garden too.
Yeah.
All the raccoons really love it.
Yeah. What else is going on in the news?
Justin Trudeau passed a gun law.
Yeah, I know
Kind
nothing.
of.
I know nothing about this. I just do know it's weird.
Yeah. He, we were talking about this the other day that you can't have a massacre like we had here and not do anything about it. So he did ban assault rifles. But I think like every other gun law that you see, it's, some people are going to love the idea, and some people are going to hate it. It doesn't really do anything to stem the tide of illegal firearms, that sort of thing. So it was sort of a knee-jerk reaction, I think, because, Parliament wasn't really in session. There was no real discussion around it. It was just, we're doing this, something like 1,500 firearms that are on the banned list now.
Yeah, and here are my thoughts, and you can take them or leave them. Guns kill things. That's why they're there.
Yep.
I don't think the majority of people who buy guns or have guns want to use them to kill people.
Right.
But, crazy, awful, and terrible people ruin it for the rest of
It's true.
the responsible people. Mm-hmm. If Justin Trudeau did nothing, there would have been a large group of very angry people. Mm-hmm. If Justin Trudeau did something like huge gun law reform and just said everything's banned, no one can have guns, a lot of people would have been pissed off.
True.
So I think what he did was try to do something as much as he possibly sort of could while he couldn't get a parliament in session, to make it look like he did something to appease some people, to not piss off all the gun owners.
Well, make no mistake, there's a lot of gun owners who are pissed off, and they also see the hypocrisy of it all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, and that's, I think, the thing that bugs most people that are law-abiding citizens and gun owners is the hypocrisy of it is ridiculous.
Yes, I agree. On the other hand, the guy who... The whole reason why this came about was there was a man who went on a horrible rampage in Nova Scotia recently, and people said enough is enough. We don't want to turn into America where there are gun incidences all the time.
Which is where he got the gun, apparently.
Yeah, and again, I don't know enough about this, but I mean, the community is small enough that I used to live in Nova Scotia, and my mom knows people who lived in the area. Like it's
Canada is a big country, but it's a small country.
But it's a small country. Maybe the guy who used those guns in Nova Scotia at one point was a law-abiding citizen as well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's... a law-abiding citizen, sure. But
yeah.
I don't think he was a firearms owner. He wasn't registered.
But I think the problem is you don't know who's not law-abiding until they're not anymore, right?
Sure.
So that's where the people who are anti-gun come from.
Sure. Yeah, but then the argument, of course, is always, well, they just can drive a car down Yonge Street and on the sidewalks, or they can London bridges drive a...
You can knife somebody anytime, right?
If you're bent on killing somebody, you're going to find a way to do it. The counter argument to that is that it's not a machine gun filled with 30 rounds and multiple magazines. Blah blah.
You're going to kill more people with an automatic weapon than you are with a penknife. So, yeah, I mean the argument just is going to keep going and going, and that's why I think our Prime Minister did what he did to the extent that he did, because if he did nothing, he would have angered a lot of people. Yeah. And if he did more than what he did, he would have infuriated a lot more people. So...
You got a gun, you don't have to work out. I ain't working out. I ain't jogging. You got pecs, I got texts. Oh, man, shit. You don't need no gun control. You know what you need? We need some bullet control.
Yeah. Anyways, that was heavy.
Yeah.
You know what isn't heavy?
Not me.
or me. Oh my gosh. Quarantine or isolation has I should have skipped some dishes.
Yes, we should have skipped
should have skipped Chinese food last night. That's for damn sure.
Skip the dishes. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into reviews.
Now it's time for Dropbear and Panda's reviews.
You sent me this great commercial.
I did.
Yeah, and I was like, this is awesome. Woman power.
So, to our listeners, when you hear this,
I think if you look around at so many of the technologies that are available today, there's so many brilliant female minds that are behind it.
what do you think about?
Well, I know what I was thinking about when I heard it. I'm just like, girl power, like women in science, changing the world.
So when I saw this on Twitter, it was introduced to me as, this isn't advertising what you think it is. What do you think it's advertising?
Right.
So I knew when I saw this commercial going,
Yeah.
and it's quite long, I was like, okay, so it's not what it looks like it is. So I'm like, maybe it's an app.
Right.
Maybe it's an app for a phone,
Yeah.
or a game about like girl scientists, or if it's for, I don't know. But I was going along that line. You know what it's for, people? Miss Monopoly.
I did a spit take at the end. I could not believe it. What the fuck?
That's exactly what I said. I went, what the fuck? And then I went, oh, we're talking about this on our podcast. And
Yeah.
I sent it directly to you.
Oh my God. So funny. Funny follow-up story to this is that Monopoly was made originally by a woman. Back in 1903.
And what happened to that, Dropbear?
Oh, some dude stole it, Mr. Moreau,
Moreau?
and sold it to Parker Brothers or something like that. Yeah. But she was playing both sides. She was like, the monopolists and the non-monopolists. So she had two versions of the game that she created. There's like the poorhouse in it. They had like the jail. And there's a lovely article all about that. Lizzie Magie was her name.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's pronounced Magie because there's only one G.
Magi?
Maybe.
I don't know either.
Anyway, but yeah, that's her name, Lizzie Magie, or Maggie, but I think it was Magie. She invented the game, and and a guy basically played it in the 20s. I want to say the 20s, 30s, and loved it so much and asked for the rules, and nobody had actually written down the rules. It was like one of those games that got passed from family to family to family, and so he basically went through and redid the game, and got the rules as they were written, tweaked it, and then sold it to Parker Brothers. Well, it was originally called the Landlord game, but it got changed to Monopoly. And she was going by Elizabeth J. Phillips. Her father's name was James Magie. So anyway, and then this dude basically sold it to Parker Brothers. Charles Darrow, that's his name, not Marrow, Darrow.
Darrow?
Yeah.
Not marrow, like, stuff in your bones.
Yeah, no, but he made millions, like millions and millions. So he got royalties all the way down the line, and Lizzie didn't get anything. I think they paid her something like $500 for her patent, because she had patented the precursor of Monopoly, which is what this was all based on, was called the Landlord game, and she had patented it.
Patented it.
Yeah, patented it.
Which is why this Miss Monopoly
Oh,
so fucking weird. So,
do you find it insulting?
yeah, I'm surprised the box isn't pink.
Well, they probably have like hair salons and mani-pedi places. And instead of, the railway, they've got like, Tesla chargers and stuff like that.
Instead of going to jail, it's like, go to your room. I don't know. I mean, as far as the commercial goes, the commercial is done really well.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh yeah, this is fucking great, right? Like, I'm in, like, this is awesome. Like, my daughter, if my dad saw it, he'd be like, yeah, like my 3 daughters, this is great. Like, have my daughters buy whatever they're selling. Yeah. And then it's like Ms. Monopoly.
Yeah, it's weird.
Didn't see it coming.
No.
Like at all. The only thing that would have been worse is it's like, you can do anything you want.
Little Miss Monopoly.
No. The only thing that would have been worse is it's like you can do anything you want, including buying this easy bake oven or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Buying this workout clothes or I was shocked.
Just don't get it. I want to know what the squares are, because maybe it's like, you get to buy a science lab, or now you're going to own this building complex. Like, is that what the squares are? Is that why they're doing that? Like,
well, let's look this up. Miss Monopoly is a version of Monopoly released by Hasbro in 2019. So it was released in the fall. Miss Monopoly causes controversy.
it's shocking.
It was on Jimmy Kimmel. And feminist Miss Monopoly reviewed in Board Game Playthrough. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on this Miss Monopoly. Does Miss Monopoly really empower women? Learn more about female entrepreneurs with Miss Monopoly from Hasbro.
Well, that doesn't sound bad.
That doesn't sound bad.
That sounds like kind of awesome.
That sounds pretty good. I'm not entirely convinced that this commercial, though, which is what we're reviewing,
Yeah.
really does...
I think my issue with the commercial, besides that it just seems so ridiculous at the end of that it's Miss Monopoly, it's like, it sort of reminded me, it might as well have been like My Little Pony at the end. It made no sense to me, the connection. The ad company should have done a way better job of connecting these young women with entrepreneurial, pursuits, game theory. You know what I mean? Like I love the idea that it can be about women entrepreneurs, but Monopoly is a fucking horrible game. Like, no, like when was the last time you played Monopoly and everybody like had fun? Because usually somebody is an asshole.
I have never played Monopoly past the point where the houses start popping up.
Oh, really?
Because Monopoly also takes like your entire life. It's fucking awful. It takes forever. Yeah. So, as a commercial though, what did you think about it?
Well, I honestly thought that it was not for a board game.
So is that good or is that bad?
Well,
as a review for a commercial,
I would say the review of the commercial for me is that it was so shocking at the end that that's what it was for. It took away the idea that I wanted to learn more about it. It was like, what? That makes no sense. If I had daughters, maybe I'd see it differently, but maybe I'd be insulted. I honestly don't know. I just think that there's a crossover that's missing. There's this, all these great stories of these young women somehow need to be tied into the product or the idea of the product within the context of the commercial, not wait for the very end and then surprise.
It was too much of a twist.
Yeah, it was.
The twist was too big.
There's, Keith Johnstone says stuff about creating a platform on stage so that you can then tilt the narrative.
Yeah.
Right. So they created this great platform. They created this circle of expectations. Ms. Monopoly was not within that circle of expectations.
No.
So when the tilt happened, it was like, what the?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah, so insult aside, and I shouldn't say whether I'm insulted or not really, because I don't know what the game is.
Right.
Because we're not reviewing the game.
Yeah.
We're reviewing the commercial for the game. The game itself might be freaking great, right? Like if I had nieces, like I might buy it for my nephews because like, they need to know that they aren't superior to their female counterparts, right? And I'm sure I won't, but because Monopoly is terrible.
Do not pass. Go directly to the spa.
Exactly right. You come across an asshole male boss. What do you do? Like, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but like the game itself might be great. I saw a thing in here where it says in this game the women actually make more than men, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm in a union. I make the same as everybody in my pay grade, so disclaimer. Don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But the game itself might be great, but the commercial, there was too much of a twist. It made me forget all about. It made me think the game itself was ridiculous because the commercial.
There's no connective tissue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But beautifully shot, I guess.
Right.
And you had these awesome, like, young women doing awesome things.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And because you're like, maybe it's for a school. Maybe it's for, the only thing that ruined it for me was I knew it wasn't for what you thought it was going to be for. But again, I still did not think it was for that.
Nope. And maybe we're only seeing half the commercial. Maybe there's another part of the commercial which has these young women playing a game and then getting fucking cutthroat. like
leaps across the table, hair starts being pulled, someone like smashes the other's face into the board.
Yeah.
I want that to be the rest of the commercial.
For our purposes, that's how it plays out.
Yeah, that's how I'm envisioning it. That's the
because
director's
Monopoly,
cut.
yeah, because that's what happens with Monopoly is the game gets upended, the tables fly across the room, tempers flare. I mean, because that's the ultimate result of any Monopoly game that I've ever played.
Can you imagine if the squares were like, you invented a new nail polish color? Oops, you got your period. Take 1 week off.
Oh my God. It's a chance card. It's just like, you're pregnant. God damn it.
Or like you had sex. If you roll above a
You got to
7.
get boxcars.
If you roll above a 7, you got pregnant. Oh no. We should make a game.
And then you get alimony is instead of free parking.
Or is this the game of life?
Oh yeah.
And that just depends on if you get the pink peg or the blue peg.
Pink peg or the blue peg. That's the jokes now write themselves, but
we need to copyright this shit. It's copyrighted.
Yeah.
It's copyrighted.
Copyrighted.
How do you copyright something?
On the website LegalZoom.com, they say, to register a book or other creative work, simply go to copyright.gov, the website set up by the Library of Congress. There is an online portal to register copyrights for photographs, sculptures, and written works. Fill out the form, pay the fee, and you are registered.
That wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. Huh. All right. How do you want to save the world this week?
It's time.
For Dropbear and Panda to save the world.
Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, we're going to register the game of life pink versus blue, which will be amazing. Second of all, the Save the World Wildflower Seed giveaway.
Ooh.
So this, and I don't know whether they just send it to people in Calgary or not, but if you register with the City of Calgary before May the 15th, they will send you a wildflower seed mix to your home.
What?
And these are local flowers to Alberta. That are able to withstand the climate of Calgary, and they are familiar to our native pollinators.
Oh, well, remember our old house had those blue ones.
Yeah.
And we had bees galore.
Yeah, so this is to help save the bees. And it's friggin' great. Hang on.
We like bees.
Yeah, we do like bees. They've got...
We call them fuzzy buddies.
Yeah. So in the mix here, the flower species are the perennial blue lupine, blanket flower, purple prairie clover, yellow prairie coneflower, purple coneflower, and sunflowers.
Ooh.
So what you do is we will give you the site to go on to.
Yeah, do it.
They are local. They bloom for long periods of time. That ensures the pollinators have sources of nectar and pollen available from early spring to the end of the fall, and they provide shelter for the bees like to use the flower stems for nesting and that kind of thing.
Nice.
And we love bees.
And you should look into programs because we have listeners all around the world. Find out if you guys have a good pollen neighbor.
Pollen neighbor. Yeah, after I registered this morning, it was great because you get like this little thing and they're like, thanks, be a pollen neighbor. And I was like, oh,
That's awesome.
Way to go, City of Calgary.
Yeah, so you guys should look into that wherever you live and see if you can help the bees too.
Because you know what else bees do? They destroy murder hornets.
Do they really?
Yeah, I watched a video.
Whoa.
So I don't know where it was. It was in Asia somewhere. A murder hornet came into a bee box.
Yeah.
And
probably all like swagger and stuff.
Well, and the
like
bees were like, oh, what's going on? What's going on, man? And then the hornet grabbed one bee and killed it. And that's when the rest of the bees were like, oh, no, you didn't. And they swarmed this hornet, covered him, and with all their vibrating bodies, apparently this is what bees do, raised the hornet's body temperature.
What?
Like 2 degrees and cooked him to death.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
It was incredible. And like, I don't know how long it was. I mean, like the video was only a couple minutes long.
That's
so
insane.
They could have cooked this hornet for 5 minutes, or it could have been only a minute and a half. But yeah, and then they left the hornet. The hornet was dead. And only 2 bees died instead of, all 400 of them. And then the bees came out and got rid of the hornet's scent.
Yeah.
So other hornets couldn't come in and
smart
and find them. They cooked him to death.
Wow. That's
Isn't that
badass.
crazy? So we need bees, guys.
Yeah.
And flowers are like awesome. And I looked up all these flowers, and if
honey.
you live in Alberta or in Calgary, you'll recognize all these flowers.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a good idea.
All right.
So I've already saved our world because I've ordered some. How are you saving the world?
Well, I'm going to order some as well.
What?
Yep.
We'll have twice as many.
Yep.
Okay, Google, how are you today?
Good. I've just been learning about 5-pin bowling, and this looks like a lot of fun. What can I do for you today?
Okay, Google, do you prefer 5 or 10-pin bowling?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Wow.
So in the time that we've sat here, the sky went from sunny to cloudy and rainy, which would explain why I got smoked with a migraine this morning.
Yeah.
So
it'll probably snow on the way home. And that's why I rode my motorcycle.
Yeah, because you're a smart one.
I am.
Your Crook look is going well?
Yeah.
So you're continually saving the world with that?
Yeah, well, maybe that's like, we'll have the flowers, but yeah, Crook look is still going. I'd like to get more makers on there because apparently it's doing really well for the makers that are on there. Yeah. So, and I got some technical stuff done to it. So now you can register on your own. You don't need to send me your stuff. You can just do it all on your own.
We need to spread the word, not COVID.
Yeah.
The more people on that site, the easier it will be for people to find makers and mask makers.
Anyway, keep that shit up.
Keep it up.
I've been Dropbear.
I've been Panda. Hey, Google, who are you?
I'm a helper and a friend. There are a lot of things I know, and even more things I'm excited to learn about.
And this has been Dropbear and Panda.
Save the world. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, you can help sponsor the show by going to patreon.com/dropbearandpanda.
Thanks to Emery Chords for the kick-ass theme music.
And don't forget to subscribe
wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Yo, it's Dropbear and Panda, yo. Yo, it's Dropbear and Panda, yo. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you, Panda. Coming at you like a locomotive on a motherfucking bender. Yeah, tap my quarter, now my jab, follow me. Yeah, with my doggies, yeah, you be checking on the flow, yo. Checking flow, you was quick, you can't pick my medical ranges, angles, tangles. You get tangled, twisted side reflexes. Child should be, can't compete with the owls that devour. Yeah, with the owls that devour, yeah. Yeah, it's a Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive filled with autonomous chopper. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive filled with autonomous chopper.
Dropbear and Panda.